up on the grid as they wait for the lights to go out. The revs are building. Let's go racing!
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Everybody's doing a brand new dance
Good evening everyone, it's the final sprint before the finish. Welcome to the Autodrome Lago Maggiore for round 11, season 9 of Wheel to Wheel action. It's split 3 tonight, and joining me in the commentary box is Oz Tormentor. Good evening, Oz.
Thanks, Tachi. Yeah, welcome everyone to our split 3 race for tonight. Final one before the Super Enduro starting next week. A lot of fast guys in here, so we should see some good action, good race pace, and lots of fun.
Thank you very much, Oz. And bringing us the visuals tonight is Hammy to the Bone. Good evening, Hammy.
G'day, Touchy. Terminator. Yeah, that's a good one tonight.
Yeah, look, it's going to be an awesome race tonight here. The final of our sprint rounds before we kick it off into the Super Enduro at our home track, Bathurst. But let's get these guys going. I'm ready to see some racing here. You guys?
Yep, ready to see some good racing tonight.
Rightio, let's kick these guys off with qualifying. 5 minutes tonight for qualifying, and we will run you through our grid. Yeah, so race format tonight, 3-lap sprint as always. We get 2 7-lap dashes and a 15-minute finale with a mandatory stop for tyres. It's the Grand Prix layout we're using tonight, fictionally set in the south of the Smiths Alps and north of Milan in the picturesque northern Italy region. Built to emulate the Formula 1 circuit's landscape that we all know and love, with the tight first sector, open and fast second sector, and momentum and commitment to finish off the lap. Tormentor, kick us off with who's in split 3 tonight.
In split 3, first off we have Evil One in that lovely red Ferrari, followed by Slater Bar in a very green and black nice Ferrari. In third we have Viper Fang. Yeah, it's going
Yeah, I'm waiting for the timing and scoring to catch up for me, so we'll just give them a moment just to get through the first sector. So leading the way, like you said, was we got DCE, leading the way. Privateer Racing tonight. Good to see DCE back in the league. Following DCE, we have got Maccajack in the blue and grey camo Ferrari. We've got red and grey and blue and grey camos leading the way. Next up, Tormentor.
Next up we have Evil One, and like I said before, that nice red and black Ferrari. Behind him we have Disco Stew, who has been coming and going actually through the races.
Gitman Slarty Bar round out the next two in the line as Slarty Bar just eases up a little bit, makes a bit of space.
We have Molten Nash and Palmer behind them, followed by Bozza.
And Bozza and Palmer just do a quick position swap with Viper Fang, Broken Spoke 10th and 11th.
Yeah, Frolic Straw and MCD still in the pits.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on with MCDC soon. But Hammy, if you could pick up a driver for us, and we'll get Tormentor to run you through a lap of Maggiore.
Yeah, we'll jump on with Evil One, eh?
Everyone, coming up to turn 1, which is a 90-degree left-hand turn followed by a 180 degrees right hairpin. Following is after the left bend coming up to a right bend questions whether to take third or fourth gear, but it's crucial to set up the car for the next 90-degree turn. Penalty of track to own both sides on the exit to lead into the simulated dry areas, or dry zones, whatever you want to call it. There's the braking, watching go around. We go up to the sector 2. Sector 2 it starts in a couple of seconds. Sector 2 starts off with sweeping late apex, open hairpin next after that. Just move to the hairpin. Alright, so watch the strip of grass left into the corner and try and stay on the track as much as you can. Uphill into a full momentum S's section. Test both cars at traction limits and the utilization, curves and grass, ready to pick up any mistakes on the back straights. A simulated DRS zone. Right for overtaking into a 20 degrees banking hairpin. The final sector starts with yeah, I lost myself.
No, that's all good, mate. There's a lot of action going on throughout the track as the times start flying in. Viper's Fang with the spin through the centre S's there through sector 2, so he'll be looking to power through on this lap for the second lap. So everyone comfortably in for a banker and a second lap. Maybe not so. No, Viper's Fang is comfortable for a banker and a second lap. Having a few issues with MCDC at the moment, so we will have to do a red flag at the start of race 1 tonight, give everyone a good chance to race. That's what we do here in wheel to wheel, but your top 3 at the moment is Broken Spoke for the 13R Ferrari team, following on by Gimpman in that STP Tools blue and red Ferrari, and third place Disco Stew, the privateer, running the grey and purple Ferrari. Disco Stew's been showing some amazing pace, sitting on the fringes of Split 2, Split 3, so he'll be looking to have another strong night tonight, get himself back up into Split 2. Following on from that, we've got Evil One, who we rode around with for our hot lap. He's currently going up through the GoPro S's at the moment. Your Throlix and Maccajack round out the top half of the field at the moment, as most your drivers are reaching the final sector now into to finish off their second laps. We'll be looking to see who improves and who doesn't. Maccajack will be the first one across the line, and we will have to see if he improves. And he's looking good so far to improve on his time. He goes purple with a 2:02.9. DC Evil One improve. Gimpman's up into second. Less than a tenth behind Maccajack at the moment is Gimpman, and then in third place Broken Spoke. No, I'm wrong. I'm proven wrong. Broken Spoke clears the field by nearly 3/10 there on his lap.
He was the fastest lap, and as I was watching him go around the track, he was actually picking up more purple, so I had a good feeling he was actually going to get a better time.
Viper's Fang last of the crossovers, 2:03.4. That's good enough for 6th place. And this field is super tight, as you would expect, week in, week out here at Wheel to Wheel. About 1.5 seconds separates the field as they go into race 1. But like we said, we will red flag it, give MCDC a full chance to try and race with the boys here tonight. There's your grid at the moment. Broken Spoke, Maccajack, Gimpman, Disco Stew will be the first two on the front row.
Who are your
And
picks tonight, Touchy, for who do you reckon will win race 1?
Look, that's a hard one to pick. Like I said before, Disco Stew is always hanging around on the fringes of first and second split. Maccajack as well, on a good night, is able to perform and pull out some really good results here. Boz has been good as well throughout the season. Viper's Fang will be looking to make up some time and some positions after that unfortunate commentator's curse from Adam V last week. Tormentor, as I go through setting the grid, and also as well Hammy, who are you guys picking out for race 1 or throughout the evening tonight?
I would go Evil One myself. I think he's quite good. Got good control of his car. So
Yeah, I want to go with same with Hammy there, Evil One, as I've raced with him before in a team back in season 6, and yeah, he's put out some pretty good times, and throughout the season, he's multiple seasons, he's shown very good pace.
Yeah, look, I've had the pleasure of racing with Evil One as well on the leftovers there about a season or so ago, and he was showing some amazing pace as well. He has dropped down a little bit in the pecking order of late. Maybe that's gone down to car choice, maybe that is gone down to lack of practice as well. But these guys in Split 3 are super close, and we'll be looking for some awesome action tonight. Tyre strategy later on tonight, gentlemen. What are we thinking tyre strategy will look like?
Well, I'm thinking, me personally, I'd start off in mediums. But you want to start off in the front and get up in front and break away from the pack. Starting stops. You got to pick it.
Let's try a time of day swap here real quick.
Like I said, I haven't had a lot of practice on this track, but yeah, that's usually how I do it. Start off in mediums, unless you're up front and you want to try and break away from the pack. Being a one-mate car is going to be a lot harder to break away, but you know, this is the way different people drive. It's all anybody's game in the last race.
Yeah, look, it's really the drivers have really got to test themselves and preserve patience in these one-make races throughout the season. You've really got to try and promote that overall time compared to lobby glory, as we like to call it in the league. As we are again just trying to give MCDC all the possible chance to try and get out there and race before we kick things off.
You just said no good, just start without me. I think he might be heading it in.
Fuck's sake. I might have to do a full lobby crash and restart. Now I've got multiple people glitching. Alright, I'm gonna have to do a lobby reset real quick. Start again, guys. And we should be back live on the track now, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the technical issues. GT Sport's starting to get to the end of its life and rearing out the bugs that it has. I can see Hammy has jumped back in on the visuals. MCDC is out on track. We are looking good to go. Let's set the grid and let's get race one underway. Guys, are you excited as I am? Just as excited as I am to get race one started.
Yep, can't wait to see what happens in race one.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping more people leave the pits now before we start.
I'm pretty sure we've got everyone on track. I'm sure you can confirm that for me, Tormentor, while I set the grid real quick.
Gitman's leaving now, so have broken spokes and Disco Stew. It's
And run you through the grid again one more time. Pole position goes to Broken Spoke. 9 for 13R Autosport. Second place goes to Maccajack, who is running as a privateer for this season. Next up on the grid is Gipman 74, again another privateer in third place. Following on from that is Disco Stew. After that we have Evil One and Viper's Fang rounding out the third row. Row 4 goes to Euthrolix and Slarty Bar. DCE Palmer at 9th and 10th, and Bozza and Mont Nash your 12, with MCDC all the way down in 13th, unable to set a time unfortunately, but I am expecting MCDC to try and drive through the field and make up some of those positions on the field after missing out on qualifying. As we set the last of the positions now, let's kick this thing off. Race 1, 7 laps. The first of 3 sprint races tonight, the last 3 sprint races for Season 9 before we head off to Season 10 for Wheel to Wheel over in GT7. Hanny, pick us out on who we're going to be starting on board with.
Disco Stew.
Revving out the engine, Disco Stew is just waiting for the lights on the gantry. Long holding the lights, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, engines revving, and lights out and away we go. And as always, a pretty even start. There's a bit of a mess there at the back of the field. Someone is unable to get off the grid, and that is DCE Racing. Oh my God, I'm so unfortunate there for DCE, qualified in the 9th position. Keep us going on the action there, Tormentor.
So we have Broken Spokes out in the lead with Maccajack and Gitman not far behind him. Everyone's pretty much single file throughout the race, throughout the track so far. You see Malt Nash looking up the inside of Viper Fang, doesn't get the run as he goes up as they go off the road. At the moment we have Bozza all over the back of MCDC as he tries to get on the back of Palmer. Everyone's pretty clean through the S's. Coming up to start the third sector now. Everyone's pretty evenly, pretty tight bunched actually. As you're around the right hairpin, DC cuts really, sorry not DC, Broken Spoke cuts really deep inside. As Maccajack is looking for any other mistake he might do. Caught right up to him, brought him right in. Makes it Switch to the inside. And does so. Broken Spokes not be able to cross back over again. Which has brought Gitman right into the fray. So it's a battle between Maccajack, Broken Spokes and Gitman for first. As they round the last corner. Oh, and we have Evil One side by side with Gitman as they cross the finish lap, as they cross the lap, finish the first lap, and he's jumped him and going for 2 for 1 with Broken Spoke. Broken Spoke has the inside. So go around the 180 hairpin.
Evil One's trying to hold it in there on the inside. Broken Spoke's not having none of it. Goes in there, finds him on the right front tyre there, telling him that he's still there. And he's holding him high and dry here, and that's going to allow Gitman to run down the inside. They're 3 wide down this first straight into a corner that you don't want to be 3 wide on. Watch the grass there on the left-hand side. You don't want to touch that. That'll end your race straight away. And Broken Spoke has managed to hold position, or has he? No, he hasn't. Gitman's down the inside. That turns to the outside. You've got Disco Stew there on the outside as well. They're 3 wide still as they come through the centre S's. Gitman's holding position for second place at the moment. Evil One's in third. Bit wide there on the exit as they come up through the hill here. Long slipstreaming opportunity here. They're still 2x2. Euthrolix is in the fifth car in this battle pack at the moment. Will be licking his lips here to time and move on these guys. And they go 3 wide again. They spread out here for the yard. The Total banked hairpin, 20 degrees of banking, so you can run the corner quite quick. And 2 of them out in the gravel, and Gitman is the worst off there. Can we get a replay of that, please, Hammy?
Let's have a look at that. Who was it? Gitman. Yeah, coming down to the banking, and he goes a bit wide. I think he goes a bit wide by himself, but gets into the kitty litter and just spins it.
Back up with first, that battle for second place between all these drivers. So that Maccajack get out to almost 2.5 second lead. It's a pretty tight train between second and fifth.
And this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier on. You've got to pick and choose your battles on whether you're going to fight for lobby glory or whether you want to fight for overall lobby time. And you can see here at the moment, Maccajack has almost got a 2-second lead here in this 15-minute race, just after all this squabbling from second place on to 5th place. So it really does pay to work with the guys that are around you and not fight too hard for a few lobby positions when league-wide overall is up for grabs. But just rounding out the rest of the field at the moment, Molten Ash and Slarty Bar 6th and 7th, Viper's Fang in 8th, MCDC able to join the grid now in 9th spot, Palmer 86th in 10th, Bozzer in 11th, and Gimpman rounding out the field in 12th. DCE Racing, a very unfortunate DNF there with lobby issues, and I will be petitioning with the stewards that he does not receive a penalty for this race after the round is run and done. Back up to the front of the field though with a Maccajack. That lead is ever growing, 2.6 seconds as they go through the GoPro chicane. Tormentor, it's almost Maccajack's race to lose at the moment.
Yeah, just going back between the battle between second between Evil One, Disco Stew and Broken Spokes. They're keeping it very tight. I've seen Disco Stew poke his nose a couple of times on the inside of Evil One, but he hasn't been able to pass him yet. As Evil One goes as wide as he can on the track. But Disco Stew has the slipstream, pulling up the side. Evil One, all pins his brakes late, and he takes it.
And that's a good move there from Disco Stew. Everyone trying to cut back. Just can't get the move done there. One of the prime overtaking positions around here at Lago Maggiore is turn 1. After the long start finish straight there into a tight 90-degree left there. But your top 3 still Maccajack, Disco Stew, Evil One, lap 4 of 7. The purple lap at the moment belongs to Maccajack with a 2:04.472. Those tyres will start to be wearing in now, to the point where the guys are now just going to look to pace their car just a little bit more, pull up on the braking zones a little bit, look after those tyres. They do have a longer race later on tonight, but it is quite a long track here for the Group 4 Ferraris at Maggiore, about 5.8 kilometres. So they would be looking to look after their tyres here to have a bit of fight towards the end. Battle for second still raging on. Broken Spoke, I think, was looking for a cutback at the hairpin. Didn't work for him then. Evil One trying to look for a cutback up through the GoPro S. He's got the inside line, got a bit of an overlap. Broken Spoke behind there. 2 wheels on the grass. That's not the fastest way around this track, Broken Spoke. And Disco Stew is out high and dry and wide, and that gives Evil One the position. Broken Spoke's going to have to run here, but he's going to be pinched on the outside. Coming into the final corner. A bit of a touch there from Disco Stew, but Broken Spoke has managed to hold position. So Disco Stew's gone from second back to fourth in the space of the last sector of this lap.
Going back up to Maccajack, that fight in between Evil One, Broken Spokes and Disco Stew has brought Maccajack out to a 14.2 second lead. So while they're fighting, he's just slowly pulling away. Yeah, so they really want to catch Maccajack. These three got to stop battling and work together.
Back towards the tail end of the field, Slarty Bar, 10th position, serving a penalty along the start-finish straight there. Must have just cut it in a bit too fine at the final corner there. Really got to pick your apex through that final corner to maximise the time. But go a bit too far over on the inside there, and you will see yourself in the penalty books with the GT stewards.
Gimman had that unfortunate accident earlier. He's actually started to catch up to DC now, only 3 seconds away. But he would have been a lot further away after hitting that wall. So
yeah, look, the open track against the battling drivers there for the final few positions of the top 10.
Inside of Evil One doesn't do it so well. Didn't get a good run out of it.
And Euthroix in 8th position, serving a penalty down the back straight there. He's having to fight up against Bozza and Palmer, both of the V-Corsa Ferraris there. He's managed to maintain position between those two. Slarty Bar in 10th spot, looking down the inside of Palmer there. A small bash up against the door just to get the position there from Palmer 86. The move is done. Palmer's looking down the inside through this right-hand section. Doesn't get the move done, and Slarty Bar's back up to 9th position. And the field is sort of forming out into a couple of its own trains. Maccajack 4.7 seconds to the good as we go to lap 6. Evil One and Disco Stew and Broken Spoke almost to an extent the chasing group to Maccajack. And then your peloton consists of Molten Ash, Viper's Fang, Bozza, Euthroix, Slarty Bar, Palmer, MCDC, and Gipman making up for lost time, trying to find out all the time he can after that unfortunate spin from the bank hairpin a few laps ago. He's very quickly catching up to the back of his field of MCDC, Palmer and Slarty Bar. So he's making time up on the field, and he will be in prime position come race 2.
Maccajack look up the inside of Palmer once or twice, but then he gives him a bump on the rear fender, so either he's holding him up or he just can't get enough momentum to get the move done. Feeling that. Yeah, like you said, it's really helping Gitman catch up to the back of the pack here.
and Viper's Fang as well in 5th position. He'd be looking to hold off Maltnash and Bozza in 6th and 7th. Was surprised to learn Maltnash only picked up GT Sport just this last, or only at the start of COVID, so he's doing an amazing job for a relatively new driver to the league, as well as to the world of sim racing. I've heard he was in the captain's good books and was able to pick up a Fanatec system as he gives Bozza a massive bump through the GoPro S's there. Bozza's having none of it and fighting back. Doesn't get the position though. So look, Maltnash is kitted up and ready to go for season 10 and onwards of Wheel to Wheel, and I'll be looking out for him in the near future to be climbing up the lobby splits into split 2 in the near future. And I may have just given him the commentator's curse there a little bit. Running wide on the X of the final corner, he loses 2 spots to Euthrorix and Bozza. Back up the front of the field, Evil One, Disco Stew fighting it out for 2nd and 3rd.
Goes off the track, in that position, back to Moulton. There he's really put the rest of them in. You have Palmer trying to go inside of Hydraulic as well. Side by side with Slady Bar. Here he goes. If you're looking at the inside of Hydraulic now.
Oh, good move there from Palmer down the inside of Euthrorix. But pulls out and gives the position back up to Euthrorix and Slady Bar there. I thought that was a fair move and a good move there by Palmer on the last of the late breakers, but looking to challenge himself here for the final lap of the race and passing the same 2 drivers again in the final lap. And he might get the move done here because Euthrorix and Slarty are going side by side down the back straight there. Palmer's set himself up on the far inside. We've got to watch out for the over-under here from one of these 2 guys. Sliding down the last of the late breakers there. Gets the move done initially. Is holding the position just. They're going to be duking it out for the rest of the race here. Let's stick it back up to the front of the grid. We got Disco Show and Evil One still arguing over 2nd and 3rd. Broken Spoke, I think, is pretty solid in 4th spot. Mackajack's going to come home with an emphatic victory of about 7 seconds. Disco Stew's going to hold it out against Evil One through the final corner. No, he's not. He's touched the grass on the final corner. Evil One's got to run. Is he going to have enough pace here? He is going to have enough pace here, and Evil One is going to be 2nd place. Disco Stew in 3rd, managed a podium for race 1.
Broken for 4th, Bozza 5th, Viper Fang, Maltnash, Stoic 8th, Slater Bar, Gitman, Palmer, and MCDC. I was watching Gitman on the last race about halfway through the track, and he was on a warpath. He was just, I mean, he passed MCDC after that unfortunate accident, and then he was catching Stoic and all them without battling out. He cut that time down real quick. I mean, I reckon a few more laps and that would have been a 4-way battle for 10th.
And what a race that was, race 1. Took us a little while to kick things off, but well worth the wait that one was. As we'll get straight into race 2. While we're gearing up for race 2, let's hear from one of our sponsors, Hammy.
Yep, Next Level Racing, their stand. We'll have a look at that.
nothing but good things comes out from Next Level Racing. I've got the GT Lite cockpit, which is amazing, which is comfortable, easy to use, easy to set up. That Next Level GT stand as well, I hear, is a very good product, an excellent product that they've come out with, and I hear it takes a direct drive kit as well. So for those guys who are looking to line themselves up with the new Fanatec DD that's coming out for GT7, you guys will be in luck. If you are running out of room for a full setup, you've got yourselves a nice little backup option there. Get yourself a nice comfy chair and you're set to go. Race 2 just about to kick off. Just waiting for a few more guys to jump in. We're gonna kick things off as we're running well behind the clock at the moment here. DCE's just jumped out, so we'll give him a quick moment to get back in, give him a chance to race. Race 2 will be a reverse grid affair from race 1, so the guys that suffered a little bit or made a few mistakes in race 1 get their chance in race 2.
DC's back, you have to set a manual grid.
No, DCE didn't race in race 1, so he would end up going to the front of the grid anyway. So we're just waiting for DCE to jump back in, get out on track, and we will kick things off for race 2. Tormentor, who is your pick for race 2 tonight, mate?
Well, my pick would be Mackie again. He did pull away at the start, so I'm assuming if he can get a good start in race 2, he should work his way back up to the field. Being 7 laps, I don't know if it's going to be enough to get pole position again, but that's where my pick will be going.
Yeah, I tend to notice in the lower lobbies of wheel to wheel, or even from about split 2 onwards, passing is quite a premium for the guys that usually win or finish up to the front of the grid for race 1. Really have got to try and capitalise your moves for race 2 and race 3 to get those passes done. Strategy a key for race 3, which will be happening in the next 20 minutes or so. But who are we riding on board with for the start of race 2, Hammy?
I will jump on board with Gitman.
Yeah, he's one I want to watch in race 2 as well. He had that unfortunate accident in race 1, and he was actually getting positions back near the end of the race. I reckon he should be on some good racing and good pace in race 2.
And lights out and away we go, and DC has not got off the grid again. That has caused havoc and trouble for the rest of the field, but they've gotten through relatively all right and relatively clean for the start of race 2. MCDC, Palmer and Gitman are going to lead the way for the start of race 2, followed closely by Euthrolix and Viper's Fang. Very, very, very unfortunate for DCE and his return back to the wheel-to-wheel leagues, making his first appearance since
Season 6 actually, I think it was.
He didn't race last week in round 10, but he raced in round 9, so DC, it looks like you're going to have a bit more practice for Bathurst coming up next week. 90 minutes around the mountain. That is going to be an awesome race. We'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight. But the grid again has sort of split itself up into a group of two groups of racing. We've got first to fifth leading the way, and then about a 2-second gap to Disco Stew in 6th spot, who's fighting off both Slarty Bar and Evil One 3 wide into the Total Bank.
Oh, Molten also joins the fray there too.
Evil One's going to get the move done. Broken Spoke trying to get the cut back on Disco Stew. Slarty Bar is going to slide up the inside of the GoPro S's. Broken Spoke fighting back that position there. And he's going to hold it there. He's got the inside line. That allows Molten Ash of the 13R as well to almost get through. Doesn't get through. Thinks better of it this time. And Uthrog's able... Oh no, Uthrog's part of that first grid there. Just fallen off a little bit. Evil One's very quickly trying to catch up to them. Same with Disco Stew and Broken Spoke, and that gap between 5th and 6th has now fallen to 7/10 of a second race as we start lap 2. Big move down the inside, and all three of them behind are off track. Evil One, Disco Stew, and was it Broken Spoke? All three of them off the track as they go into turn 1, race 2, all a little bit heavy on the brakes. Trying to be the last late breakers and get that move stuck.
Front, MCDC or back to Palmer with Gitman right behind him. Might be going 3 wide into this tight right hairpin as Palmer and Gitman back out. MCDC brakes late, falls back to 3rd, and gives lead back to, well, gives lead to Gitman actually, not Palmer. And oh, okay, something's different. My system just been a bad vital thing.
And Gitman not wasting any time whatsoever for race 2. He's out in the lead. He's got Palmer right behind him, slipstreaming up and getting ever so close to the Gimp. Doesn't look to make the move though. Probably sensible driving there for Palmer for race 2. Still early in the race here, so he doesn't want to sacrifice that overall time. Viper's Fang in 3rd. Was trying to make a move around the outside there from Palmer. Doesn't stick the move up through the GoPro S's. And Viper's Fang's found a bit of grass there through the right-handers. He's fallen into the back of the train here. Slips in behind your Throgs, doesn't lose too much time, so he's still got a chance to fight back up towards the front there and have get a respectable finish. Gitman is just trying to drive away now. He's got about 8/10 of a second lead, and the winner for race 1, Maccajack, still down in 10th spot at the moment. Makes a move around the outside of Bosner into turn 1. A big move there by Maccajack. Well done for 10th spot.
The action seems to be happening. Evil One goes side by side with Slater Bar. Tries to go out wide. Doesn't quite get it done. Falls in behind him. Disco Stew passes Molten Ash for 9th position. Everyone else is pretty sure they're going to keep that same spot for another few laps. Really any more battles going on at this point in time.
And the Gimp leading the field now, 1.3 seconds on Palmer. So Palmer not making that move may end up costing him the race win here. Still early days though as they go down the back straight for lap 3. MCDC and Uthrogs going side by side down the hill into the Total Bank, and Uthrogs last late breakers down the inside. MCDC looking for the cut back. Not going to get the move done here, but he's still going to be side by side. No, he slips in behind Uthrogs up through the GoPro S's.
There's still a battle going between Disco Stew, Evil One and Slady Bar as he come into the second right turn. And Slady Bar holds off Evil One. And Disco Stew sitting behind for any distance you can get after this final left and 10th corner. So I will be too far back to do anything before turn 1. Even one pulls up beside Slady Bar, looking for the inside corner. and brakes a slight bit later and pulls it off, taking 6th position.
Good move there by Evil One, and the guys behind licking their lips, looking to get past Slarty Bar. They can see he's a little bit vulnerable here through this first sector. Your purple lap at the moment goes to Gitman with a 204.871 at the halfway mark, or almost at the halfway mark through race 2. Mackajack's still languishing down in 10th spot at the moment. Hasn't been able to make the passes and get back up to the front of the field where he was from race 1 with that emphatic victory there. So again, the tribulations continue for our race 1 winners, just struggling to get those passing moves done for race 2 and race 3, and languishing towards the back of the field here.
You see this is all the back of your trolley. Might look for it pass up at the corner at the hairpin here. He's side by side, 50 metres, and brakes later, and it does so. He's really looking to spin back, doesn't have enough power to do it. So he sits in behind MCDC, who's now slowly closing the gap on Palmer.
Disco Stew down the inside of Slarty Bar to the GoPro S's. Broken Spoke also looking to shock down the middle there, just gives Disco Stew just a little hurry along through the corner. That gets the move done on Slarty Bar, and Broken Spoke pulls out from the move. Slarty Bar a little bit wide, touching a bit of grass there on the exit of the corner, looking a little bit vulnerable. Mackajack also trying to sneaking down the inside there, can't get the move done, and so those guys finish that lap. Line astern for 7th through to 10th. Bozzer and Maltnash in 11th and 12th rounding out the field.
Braking late, side by side with Broken Spokes. 3 wide now, and Stable not wanting to give that position up to Mackajack. We'll have the inside line and still side by side. Looking, Mackajack will have the inside corner on this, or depends who's the later breaker. As Mackajack brakes late and takes position 8.
And the Gitman taking a page out of Mackajack's book for race 2. He's crawled out to about 2.5 second lead, and that lead is looking insurmountable the further on they go into this race, with Palmer in 2nd place. MCDC's managed to pick up the new fastest lap of a 204.845 for Low and Slow in that black and rainbow Ferrari. Looking down the inside of Palmer here through the Total Bank. Gets the move done. Palmer turns in on him. Contact side by side. Palmer manages to hold position. MCDC looking to find that precious slipstream up through the hill with the GoPro S's. And back behind those two guys, Evil One, your Throlix running side by side up through the hill. Your Throlix in prime position here to maintain 4th spot. Gets the move done down the inside. Viper's Fang also looking to nibble up the inside of Evil One for 5th. Thinks better of that, and yeah, Throggs runs a little bit wide on the apex of the corner. He may get a half-second penalty here, but loses the position to Evil One. That is going to be penalty enough for him. And lap 6 of 7, 2 to go as they cross the line now. It is a battle for the final few spots just after the podium here, and MCDC and Palmer should keep their eyes on their rearview mirrors for the last couple of laps, because the guys behind are looking quite feisty and quite racy.
Main battle was a little bit wide, gives the bike a thing, fifth position. Yeah, no, you can't get back fast enough. Does have a better run out of the corner. He's now side by side, looking for the inside of this corner for 5th position. As he brakes later, one of the things thinks better of it, tries to switch back and then get back to the trolley. But now we have Disco Stew all over the back of Viper Fang. looking for any mistake he could get again, as Disco Shoe does have some good pace. Oh, it runs a bit wide. Oh, managed to hold it, keep it on track. But goes up again, falling 3 positions to Disco Stew, Viper Fang, and Mackerjack, who is now gone from last to 5th place. So our last race winner has moved all the way back up, further than half the field. 1 lap to go, and he's just under 2 seconds off MCDC, who is fighting it out with Evil One in 3rd position.
And Mackerjack has come out of nowhere here to go from 10th to 5th for the last few laps of the race here. So well done, Mackerjack. Maybe breaking the curse of the winning driver from the previous race and starting to really climb up the ladder towards the end of the race here. Maybe he was just saving those tyres for when he needed it most, and that is now on the final lap. The Gimp Man leading the way 4.5 seconds. It's going to be another emphatic victory here. Just driving away from the field, keeping out of the battles. Clear track, clear run. Final lap for Gipman. It's his to lose here. Palmer in second, Evil1 in third, and MCDC falls down to 4th position. So Palmer and MCDC looking like they might lose out here between a hard charging Evil1 and a even harder charging Mackerjack.
There's also a battle between Brogan Spokes, Disco Stew and Viper Fang for 6th position. As Disco Stew was side by side by Viper Fang, thinks wherever it breaks in, and Brogan Spokes 2 for 1.
Big move there by Broken Spoke. Bit of contact there, and I think Broken Spoke was a bit too late in the brakes there, and he's just given up. He's given up all the positions. Unfortunately there for Broken Spoke, but he's in prime position for race 3 after this race. And Disco Shoe Viper's Fang still fighting out for 8th position. Viper's Fang so far has survived all mentions from commentators. Slarty bar up ahead in 6th.
Inside of Palmer, final corner, Evil One does it. Takes 2nd position off Palmer, but MCDC not out of it yet. He's right on the back of Palmer.
Mackerjack also in the sights here as well. He can make up a position or 2. He's gone purple through sector 3. These guys are fighting out a little bit too much, and Mackerjack might be able to make up a few more positions here. These guys are going to be covered only by an oily rag as they come through the final corner. Gitman with a 1 second penalty on the exit there on the final lap. And he burns that now, but that's going to cost him a lot of time. He still gets the win though by about 4 seconds.
Mackerjack and MCDC and Mackerjack. Top 5. Slater Bar, Bozzo. Viper Fang, Disco Stew, Molten Ash, Skull Straw, and Broken Spokes bringing out the last of the drivers for race 2. So congratulations to Gitman. Unfortunate race 1, but went out the victory in race 2, and starting off in 4th position as well.
Yeah, emphatic victory there for the Gimp for race 2. Again, just taking a leaf out of Mackerjack's book from race 1. Left a bit of time on the table there with that penalty going through the final turn. And we are going to set it up for race 3. 15 laps. Pit stop required for the medium tyre. Strategy going to be key here. Tormentor, what's you were giving strategies a little bit earlier on, but give us a run through again of what you might be doing for race 3, what you might think some of these guys might be doing for race 3.
Well, I reckon for the guys at the back of the pack, starting at the front of the lead, I'd say soft tyres, get as much as you can out of them. Also, depending on whether you can fuel save in these or not, or sit behind someone's draft, and get out to as much of the lead as possible. It is a long pit stop, as is most pit stops in any of these tracks. So really, you want to pit when most of the other guys pit, but obviously undercut might work, or I mean anything is possible in race 3. Me, as I'm usually at the back or mid of the pack, sometimes I'd start on mediums, get the mediums out of the way, and then finish the last however many laps I have on softs, and see if I can outrun some of the other guys and gain some positions.
Oh, sound advice there for our guys in Split 3 tonight. For race 3, Hammy, I believe we've got another word from one of our sponsors.
Got Future Youth Studios.
Yeah, so big shout out and big thank you to the guys at Future Studios. Eagerly awaiting for their website to launch this year. Any news on the website up and about yet, guys? Not quite.
No, I haven't seen anything.
They're probably not going to launch that website till they get their wheel-to-wheel merch out and ready to go. But let's have a quick look at the leaderboards for the league. Hammy, what's the first one we've got there at the moment?
This one's Split 3, so let's Split 3 up.
We've got the Division 3 leaderboard. Yeah, so Division 3, having a quick look. Maccajack at the moment sitting in 3rd position in the Division 3 leaderboard, about 400 points behind Expat and Ripdoc, so he's got a bit of a cushion as well from Malt Nash of about 300 points. So there's probably one of your closest battles there for Division 3. Palmer, that gap between Palmer and DCE about 500 points, and with DCE not being able to race tonight, that gap's just going to grow out a little bit more. And then Slarty Bar in 9th position as well. He'll be looking to make a jump on DCE, so there's your battle there for Division 3. As we can see, DCE trying to join in, trying to wrangle some points for this round. Have we got the Division 2 leaderboard as well there, Hammy? Because there's a couple of battles there in Division 2. So you got Queensland Devil Racer, who I don't believe has raced.
He's not racing this week.
Yeah, he hasn't raced this week, so he's going to lose out to Euthrolics here, and they're only like about 5 points difference there, and that's the battle for 7th and 8th in Division 2. And then about 200 points behind those guys in 9th and 10th, you've got Evil One and Broken Spoke. Again, they're only like about 20 points difference there as well. So
And Gimp Man.
And the Gimp as well. Yeah, the Gimp's definitely in that fight as well. A good spot, Oz Tormentor. And we're going to have to set the grid for race 3.
Also, and only I'm in his team, the battle for 12th in Division 2, Smurf. He's only about 4 points off Gitman, so he'll be looking to score some points in his race tonight.
Look up the team's leaderboard.
Give us a run through the team's leaderboard, Tormentor, as I go through and set the grid for 3rd and final race.
And I just closed this I know my team is in third, Scuderia Filio. I think Damn Racing is in second, if I am not mistaken. Yep, Damn Racing is in second, but first place goes to Rusty's Racing. In fourth you have V Corsa, fifth is 13 Autosports, sixth is Serial Killers, Cloud Racing in seventh, and Low and Slow Racing in eighth. The battle between Dan Racing and Scuderia very close, with only less than 100 points separating them in the leaderboards. But Rusty's out with a 3,000 point lead, so I think they might be winning this season, unless Dan Racing or Scuderia pull out some good times in the Super Enduro, as it is triple points.
Just still setting out the grid for race 3, gentlemen. Won't be too long, and we will get this thing underway. Who are we looking out for the final race tonight, gentlemen?
I reckon it was a good race between Macjack and Gitman, as they have won the last 2 races. But either one showing his pace, same with Disco Stu. So really, the top guys I'd be looking for would be Gitman, Macjack, and either one. Also Disco Stu, putting him in there as well.
And any chance you can give us who's running on what tyre to start off the third and final race, Tormentor?
Going through the pack, it's a mixed field. You have Gitman on mediums, Viper Painting 7 softs, Palmer, Eagle One, Sweaty Bar also on mediums, Disco Shoes on softs, DCE's on mediums, same as Macjack, MCDC. You throw like Straw, they're all starting on mediums. Molten Ash is on softs, same with Broken Spokes, and Bozza was on mediums. Whether he is changing, I have no idea, but he looks like he's sitting in the pits on mediums, so I assume he will be starting on mediums, but you know what they say about assumptions. Broken Spoke putting up a 204 in practice, and that is on softs, so it's something that I've not tried yet. I've not tried the medium, so it's going to be a whole new world and surprise for me when I do my race later on tonight. I don't think DCE is joining us tonight. As he said, he reckons it's better if he does not start, but giving good luck to all the other guys in the race, which is unfortunate for DCE.
And we'll see if he ticks in, and then we'll kick things off for the final race tonight. 15 laps, about 30 minutes. Tyres are going to play a bit of a factor in this one, gentlemen, as we will kick things off. I noticed the mediums were very, very lacking in grip in the little practice I've done with them today. Possibly looking to spend as little time as possible on those medium tyres and running as long as you can on those soft tyres pick us out who are we on for the final start tonight, Hammy.
We'll jump on board with Viper's Fang.
Good choice. No engines revving here. These guys saving as much fuel as they can. We've got the lights on the gantry going for 5 red lights. There's the engine revs going, and away we go for the third final race tonight. Again, DCE does not get off the line. Man, I'm so sorry tonight for you, brother. I wish we could restart and get these grids and these glitching sorted out for you, buddy, but the show must go on, unfortunately. But I wish you the best of luck for Bathurst next week. And the top 3 at the moment: Broken Spoke, Hydraulics and Molten Ash leading the way.
Disco Stew and Viper Fang side by side in 4th and 5th. Both break as late as possible. Disco Stew takes it, and Viper Fang not getting a faster run, but might have the inside for the left-hander as he backs out of it, giving it to Disco Stew. Disco Stew going a little bit wide and letting Viper Fang catch back up. Also, Slater on the back of Viper Fang looking for any mistake and taking to level in 6th position. Very from 7th all the way down the field, pretty much just a train. As we see Viper Fang going inside of Disco Stew, getting the better run and taking 4th. Also in a fight for 2nd between Detroit Straw and Molten Ash. Detroit really trying to get up on the Molten Ash's slipstream. Might be able to do something in the inside. Deep backs out, and he will be waiting for that long straight on the grid line.
So your top 3 still Broken Spoke, Molten Ash and Hydraulics. So 213R boys leading the way. Molten Ash playing the perfect rear gunner role to Hydraulics. Hydraulics dips a bit of the right hand side of the car out in the grass on the exit of that final corner. That's not going to do him any wonders for straight line speed. Viper's Fang and Disco Stew 4th and 5th, and they're 4 wide behind these guys. Evil One, Slarty Bar, Bozza and Mackajack going 4 wide into turn 1. They sort themselves out pretty quickly.
DC also joining as well. And Gitman all over the back of them as well. So it'll be a battle between Gitman and MCDC, who just gets up further. Oh, a bit of contact between MCDC and Mackajack. MCDC's the loser out of that, losing a few positions and going all the way back to 12th.
And the best of your medium runners at the moment is your Hydraulic Straw, and the 2 is new Ferrari up in 3rd spot. He's holding off Viper's Fang and Disco Stew 4th and 5th, who both are on soft tyres and need to get past your Hydraulic Straw sooner rather than later and build that gap. You can see that the 213R boys, clean road, clean air, are building that gap against your Hydraulics, and are also building that gap against the rest of the field. From 6 onwards, who are all on mediums. Lap 2 purples galore for everyone as they go through the 2nd timing sector, and MCDC rounding up
inside of Hydraulic now side by side. Hydraulic still will have the inside. Viper backs out a little bit, giving it to Disco Stew as well.
Still a little bit of argy-bargy there as they get through the top of GoPro chicane. Good to see these guys racing wheel to wheel, door to door, and your Hydraulic Straw just goes a bit deep into the right-hand corner there, gives up the position to Disco Stew, defends the position against Viper's Fang. Racing for Rusties, I'm sorry, pretty sure we called Viper's Fang a privateer, but racing for the Rusties boys. So maybe a few more commentators' curses might be needed for Viper's Fang tonight. Those Rusties boys are getting enough points as it is. They don't need any more. Back up to the front of the field, Disco Shoe now up into third place, looking to close that gap on Malt Nash. There's about a 1.5 second gap there, and then about a 2-second gap between the two 13R boys. These soft guys now out into clear air. Your top four all on the soft tyre, clear air. They're now just going to try and run away.
Gitman a bit wide, makes contact with Palmer as he enters the track. Down there, don't know what happened to Gitman, no penalties, but he might have just ran wide on one of the corners and got a bit loose coming out of it.
A little bit wide down there through the mobile turn. Might lose outfit to MCDC, but does have the inside line into the centre S's. And is gonna hold the position, gives MCDC a little bit of a bump on the apex there through the corner, holds position, and so Gitman staying in 11th spot, MCDC rounding out the field in 12th, but does have the run down the back straight, closing ever closer through the slipstream. Looking down the inside, this move looks pretty much signed, sealed and delivered, but Gitman's going to try and get the cut back. MCDC holds it onto the apex, owns that apex and takes the position off Gitman. Good racing by these guys. And your closest battle on pack at the moment is probably 5th and 6th spot, your Throlix and Evil One. Your Throlix just going a little bit wayward on his medium tyres, could be a lack of practice, could also be a lack of grip. Losing time to Evil One, about half a second now after the final corner, and that gap is just growing out a little bit, so your Throlix just are struggling a little bit on those medium tyres. The front's
also on medium as well.
Yeah, from 5th spot onwards are your medium tyre runners, and those fronts just looking a little bit more worn out compared to Evil One. So pushing those tyres just a bit too hard, maybe your Throlix is. And your purple lap, sorry, at the moment goes to Broken Spoke with a 204.7. That is lightning pace for race 3 so far.
Well, as these laps go on, these medium tyres will pick up more grip as you wear them down a little bit. They do take a bit longer to wear and warm up. So I'm looking for these guys on mediums to actually get a bit more faster times in about lap 5, lap 6, whereas the softs do start to lose their grip depending on how well you manage your tyre wear. So at the moment I can understand why softs are getting better, but Maccajack looking for the pass on your Throlix in 7th position, doesn't think clear of it, pulls in behind. Slowly and your Throlix were side by side, but your Throlix has taken 6th place. Slated by not going away, and Maccajack just waiting for any opportunity to pass both of them.
And out of the front four at the moment on the soft compound of tyre, it's very close between Malt Nash and Disco Stewart, who's got the better tyre. In terms of the fuel, I'm probably going to have to give that to Malt Nash at the moment, who's got the better fuel out of the four of them.
The Malt Nash has got slightly better tyres than Disco Stewart as well. Not by much, but he's got slightly better tyres.
And the pair of boots that Evil One's running at the moment as well are looking incredible right now, and that's why Evil One is up into 5th spot and chasing down those soft runners. Viper's Fang, the last of the soft runners, going a little bit wide, kicking up a little bit of grass on the exit and down into the mobile sweeper. Up ahead, Disco Shoot just closing that gap ever so slightly down to Malt Nash. It's now under a half a second as they go through the centre S's. Malt Nash just playing that perfect rear gunner roll for Broken Spoke. The gap's up to about 3 seconds. So look for Malt Nash to start defending just a little bit against Disco Stew here, trying to make that move just that little bit more difficult. Slides over a little bit to the middle of the road, and just watching behind. Disco Stew thinks better of going from the move down through the Total hairpin. And both of those guys just making up time on Viper's Fang in 4th position.
In 7th position, you've got Magjack all over Slater Bar. Did give him a bump before. I think it was just out of difference in braking time, but he was looking to get past Slater Bar really quickly. Using every bit of the road he can to get a better run out of the corners. We'll be looking for a path down this long straight, so I do see Mackie taking a dive on Slater Bar.
Evil One with a half-second penalty out of the final corner. That's going to cost him time. Mackie into the pits, the first of the pit stoppers on end of lap 5, the start of lap 6, and Slidey Bar's now up into 5th spot after Evil One serving that half-second penalty. Any other pit stop callers at the moment? MCDC calling into the pits as well for low and slow. Maccajack slightly better on the fuel compared to MCDC. And Maccajack's out of the pits now. The gap to the leaders, 35 seconds. Growing a little bit more, but stabilises out for about 35 seconds. Will that be enough for Broken Spoke and Co. To lead the race once they've done their pit stops?
MCDC moved across too early. He had a half-second penalty when he came out of the pits. I don't think he had one moving in. He has burnt it, but that will cost him as he's now 12 seconds behind Mackie Jack.
We keep an eye out on Mackie Jack here to close that gap down to Broken Spoke and Co. On the softs. Was about 35 seconds. That gap's starting to close down. It's closed down by about half a second now already on the first half of his outlap. Gitman, winner for race 2, still languishing down in 10th spot. Has had a bit of bad luck on these medium tyres. He will be looking to make up a bit more time. He's about 18 seconds back on Broken Spoke. And battling with Palmer of V Corsa. And Yathroix was the best of our medium runners at the start of this affair. He's now way down in 7th, so Yathroix not having the best of fun or the best of time on those medium tyres.
Walker pulls into the pits, followed by Palmer and Gitman.
The V Corsa boys and Gimp next in line into the pits. We'll be looking to see where Maccajack comes out as Maccajack heads through the final corner. He's going to easily have these guys jumped. Boz are the first one into the pits now. Palmer next into the pits, and Gipman then into pits as well.
MCDC running the last corner now, really past them and getting through positions.
Boz is out, Palmer's out, Gimp's out. Gimp's with the half-second penalty as well. Things going from bad to worse for the Gimp in the final race tonight. And that's going to just slip him back into the helm of MCDC. And Broken Spoke has disconnected from the race. Your race leader has disconnected from the race. Tragedy for the 13R boys. Broken Spoke was looking primed and ready to go for a race win. A 13R 1-2 was on the cards, and Malt Nash now inherits the lead over Disco Stew. We're down to 11 drivers, about an 8/10 of a second lead over Disco Stew for first and second. Viper's Fang now up into the podium positions in third. His front tyres are looking incredibly worn out. He's been pushing that Ferrari very hard. About a 6-second gap to Evil One and Slarty Bar, 4th and 5th, fighting it out, duking it out for 4th at the moment, but tragedy strikes for the 13R boys once again, and it is very unfortunate to Broken Spoke. 13R boys Tormentor were looking really good for a 1-2 finish.
Even Broken Spoke even had the fast lap, so more points to those boys.
So a small consolidation can be made there at the moment that Broken Spoke does have the fastest lap. Whether that fastest lap will survive when the faster of our medium runners get onto the soft tyres, we'll have to wait and see. It's lap 8 of 15 at the moment. We're about the halfway mark. Both Slarty Bar, Evil One still running around on the medium tyres. Maccajack, has he gone into the pits?
Yes, he was the first to pit. Well, for him and MCDC were the first to pit.
That's correct. Thank you very much for that one there, Tormentor.
Oh, your hydraulic brakes a bit late at the hairpin.
And your hydraulics was losing ever more time on those medium tyres. He'll be looking to get off of them sooner rather than later. I would say sooner for his benefit.
He is 16 seconds ahead of Maccajack, as Maccajack's on softs, but your hydraulics still has to pit, which, depending on how much fuel he has and needs, will determine if Maccajack will pass him in the pits. I'm pretty sure due to the pit time it takes to change the tyres and all that, he probably will pass him. It's unfortunate for the hydraulic, but if he keeps his head down, he might be able to pass some of the other guys that haven't pitted yet, such as Molten Ash and Disco Street and Viper, who will come out on mediums, whereas the hydraulic will have softs. So if he keeps his head down, he should still gain more positions than where he is at the moment. But only time will tell, as we still have half the race to go, and anything is possible with GT Sport.
And the 3 soft runners continue on. Evil One Slarty Bar now slipping into the pits, line astern on lap 8. Euthrox following behind as well, so we'll keep an eye on Maccajack and see where he ends up net of these guys.
Evil One also joins him in the pits.
I feel like that they may have run a bit too long on their medium tyres, but depending on how quickly they can get out and how quickly they can get their fuel in, they will be having probably the fresher set of softs to finish the race.
Ladybug comes out just in front of Bozza. Evil One
in a V-courser sandwich there. He'll be looking to get out of that quite quickly. I would be as well.
Not nice. Runs wide, loses first spot.
Did we get Did we get that on stream?
Yeah, I was on with Disco Stew.
So even more troubles for the boys at 13R. The captain's not going to be too happy. I can tell you that now with what's going on. Partly my fault, partly driver error, but Maltnash down to 3rd. There's still about a 20 odd second gap between the top 3 and Maccajack. Maccajack's had that pleasure of just running in clean air, not having to battle for any of these positions. So Maccajack in the prime position coming towards the end of this race, but these guys will be on the fresher medium tyres. Will have the will have the shorter amount of fuel. Disco Stew's through the final corner with about a 5-second lead, and he's into the pits now.
Viper will also join him as he is low on fuel, and Molten Ash is also in the pits.
So Viper's Fang very heavy on the fuel there, about 15 litres less than the other two guys, than the Disco Stew and Molten Ash. So Viper's Fang's going to lose out here in the pit stop as well as on track.
Mackie comes up to the
Disco
line
Stew's
now.
out. And Disco Stew has the lead over Maccajack, and he's still got about 5 seconds in hand at the moment to play with. Malt Nash out behind Maccajack, and Viper's Fang has Slarty Bar and Bozza and Evil One right under his rear wing, so that extra bit of fuel that he burned to keep up with those guys ahead of him has cost him time in the pits and on the track. He's now going to defend straight away out of the pits on the less preferred tyre, and you can see there that Slarty Bar is just going to drive past Viper's Fang here. Viper's Fang does have the position, track position coming into this corner, but just around the outside. A big move there from Slarty Bar up into 4th position.
As we have Moltenach trying to fight back with Mackie for 2nd position. Gave him a bit of a tap, nothing too bad, and just sitting in his slip now. We'll be looking for a move as they come out into the hairpin. Maybe thinking better of it until the last, until the straight.
And the
Right up
slipstream
under him.
battles begin with 5 laps to go. Slarty Bar pulling right into the inside, and Viper's Fang, Evil One, Bozza all follow line astern. The slipstream battles now begin. Oz Tormentor in the final 5 laps here.
Well, Moltenach overtook Mackie, but Mackie fighting back, already side by side with Moltenach. 4th second, Big Bear goes in, tucks in behind Moltenach. Going around 2 right-handers, and I think Mackie runs a bit wide. Managed to keep it on, but does lose time to Moltenach.
Might get him a penalty as well. We have seen a couple of penalties on the exit here, the final corner. Not the position and time loss is enough there for Maccajack to avoid a penalty, but he'll be fighting hard now to keep up with Molten Ash. The crossover point between the tyres will be present now. Slarty Bar defending the position against Evil One, and Viper's Fang now falls in behind these guys into 6th place. I think you'll start seeing Viper's Fang dropping like a stone through the rest of this field. Gitman, your race 2 winners, going down the inside of Palmer 86 for 8th spot. And
Gitman has also taken the fastest lap off Frozen Coast. Unfortunately for the 13 boys, won't get those bonus points either.
Molten Ash still may have a chance here to get that fastest lap. He is not on the preferred tyre though. Your Throix on the soft tyres way down in 10th spot now. The run on the mediums there for him wasn't the best for him, and he's unfortunately lost out on time, and MCDC as well in 11th spot hasn't had the best run.
Bozza and Viper Fang, rode side by side on that right hairpin. Bozza does take 6th position, but Viper Fang on the inside takes it back, and Bozza just tucks in behind. Whether he makes a move and can break late on this right-handed corner. No, he thinks better of it, stays in behind it. As Mackie runs wide and off onto the grass again. This is about to be weapon by Viper Fang and Bozza on this last corner. Viper Fang does take position, and penalty to Mackie for cutting that corner. He's now dropping back down into 9th. Everyone runs a bit wide onto the grass in 4th position, really pushing to get behind David for 3rd, who is also slowly catching up to Molten Ash.
And Disco Stew up in the lead at the moment, an emphatic 8.3 seconds over Molten Ash with about bit over 3 laps to go in this third and final race tonight.
Molten Ash and Disco Stew both on mediums.
That penalty from Mackajack, sorry to jump in there, Tormentor, get him back down into ninth spot. So unfortunate there for Mackajack in the Camel Ferrari. Gitman though is up into 7th spot, fighting with Viper's Fang for 6th down the back straight. Swings in for that precious slipstream.
Palmer also there. If he's looking outside, gives a bit of buffing, a bit of a bump. Gitman takes position, and they are in the train now behind Bozza.
And the Gimp starting to come home strong on those soft tyres at the end of the race. And the battle for second is now covered by an oily rag between Molten Ash, Slidey Bar and Evil One, all within about half a second, or less than half a second of each other. They could be inside each other if they could try, and Evil One gets to move down the inside of Slidey Bar. Slidey Bar trying to hang it around the outside of his final corner. Ends up losing the position, has to fight another day, but Molten Ash has got a lot of defending to do between Slidey Bar and Evil One on the soft tyres, and Molten Ash defends the position down the inside, makes his intentions clear with about 3 laps to go now, and Disco Stew with almost a 10-second lead. Disco Stew really showing that he's worth a split 2 position next week for the last week of the racing. He's 2/10 purple through the first sector. Back on board with Molten Ash and Evil One. Molten Ash defending down the inside heavily. Loses the rear a little bit into the corner. Evil One is through. Slidey Bar is through. And that defence is all but over now. That just opens up the track for Evil One and Slidey Bar to try and just close or claw back a bit of gap to Disco Stew. It's up to 10 seconds now between these guys. But Evil One's got a bit of defending to do with Slidey Bar hot on his heels for the last few laps of this race.
Catching up to Molten Ash, will be looking for a pass, but it looks like he's just about to lose the slipstream here to Molten Ash. Did see him trying to take a dive on the corner, but Gitman all over the back of Bozza as well. He'll be looking to get past. Looks on the inside.
Gitman down the inside there. He's gonna get the move done. And he's got the move done, and he defends the position well. Good move there by Gitman. That's going to allow Viper's Fang to have a bit of a sniff on Bozza. He's not going to get the run. He's going to have to think better of it next time. Doesn't get the run out of the final corner, so Bozza manages to maintain 6th. Gitman's up into 5th spot and climbing quickly. Molten Ash, you better try and find some pace out of that 13R Valiant now, because you've got the rest of the field bearing down on you, buddy.
That was an E1 and Slidey Bar still going on as Slidey Bar was side by side with Evil One. Was a little bit wider. Keep it on track though, and will stay in tow as the Disco Stew is now up to a 10.5 second lead, just pulling away from these two. Evil One and Slidey Bar battling is really just helping Disco Stew pull away from these guys. Going through the field, everyone's pretty much in their own little race here. Getting really trying to get on the back of Molten Ash here. Mackajack is down in 8th position, so he slowly clawed his way back after that penalty. But earlier, Viper's Fang on the back of the buzzer. Will he try something? No, doesn't get enough run out of it, and it's just behind him. As they are also trying to, as Bozza is behind Gitman, and Gitman is after Molten Ash in fourth. So the battle for fourth is starting to heat up. Viper's Fang side by side with Bozza as he comes to the right hander. Viper's Fang on the inside, thinks better of it, pulls out, and just behind him, behind Bozza. And may try something on the straight as Gitman really looking to get past Molten Ash.
And we're on the final lap now. This race has gone by super quickly tonight, Tormentor, the third and final race. Disco Stew out to a 10-second lead. That lead is still stabilised between him and Evil One, so it's Disco Stew's race to lose, and Disco Stew's going to win this race emphatically. Hopefully that's not the commentator's curse on him. He's still got about 3/4 of a lap to go. Evil One and Slutty Bar still within fighting distance for the second and third spot in the podium. Gitman might have an option here to pick up a few crumbs if Evil One and Slutty Bar get a bit squirrely and a bit too heavy on the fighting in fourth spot. Molten Ash has done a great drive for fifth at the moment. Still has about a half a lap to go to defend against Bozza and Viper's Fang. Unfortunate run from Maccajack tonight in 8th place. That penalty just knocked all the momentum out of his charge back to the grid, and those front tyres are screaming for help and are screaming for the race to finish. And through the Total bank is Disco Stew. Again, 10 seconds to the good. Slutty Bar looks for a move around the outside of Evil One in second and third. Doesn't get the move, stuck. Gitman's got a bit of defending to do from Molten Ash and Bozza in the final sector. Viper's Fang looking all over Bozza's rear wing. Tries a move around the outside. That's not going to work, Viper's Fang. You need the inside line, buddy. He's turned a bit of grass and he's half spun it.
Disco Stew coming in the last corner, coming up to the finish line now with a 10-second lead for the victory in race 3. Well done, Disco Stew. Evil One and Slutty Bar also coming around onto the straight now. Evil One with second and Slutty Bar with third for taking up pole position in race 3. Gitman in fourth, followed by Molten Ash in fifth. Bozza in 6th, Viper Fang 7th, Maccajack in 8th, Palmer 9th, MCDC in 10th, and Euthroic Straw in 11th, sorry.
And unfortunate there for Broken Spoke and DCE for the final race tonight. Disco Stew picking up the clean race bonus as well for that victory. An amazing drive there from Disco Stew. 10.5 seconds to the good. He ran that strategy to perfection tonight. Tormentor, the final round of the season approaches us. Tell us more about the final round. I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to it.
So the final round will be at Bathurst for the Super Enduro. Triple points for this race. It will be held over 2 weeks. The lower divisions will be first in the first week, followed by Split 1, 2 and 3 a week later. They will all lobbies would be live streamed, so if anyone wants to watch them, they will be able to watch at least one of them, and the others will be posted throughout the week throughout the week before the top boys have their run.
Qualifying for our Super Enduro does happen throughout the week, so keep an eye out on the YouTubes and on the Facebooks for qualifying throughout the week. It's a 30-minute affair with a bit of fun as well. Tormentor, I'm looking to get in at the last possible moment for quali. I don't know about you when you're planning on getting your quali run in.
Yeah, that same. I think I put mine for the last of the races.
Too easy. Well, thank you very much, Hammy, for sticking with us on the visuals tonight as well. I hope you're looking forward to Bathurst as well, my friend.
Yeah, I absolutely can't wait for that one. That was a great race tonight.
Look, amazing action for Split 3 across the board as always. Signing off now. Gotta go. We will see you all next week for the final round of Wheel to Wheel. Thank you very much, Tormentor, for joining me in the commentary box tonight.
No problem. Great to have you in the commentary box with us.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Hammy, for visuals. We'll catch you guys next week.
Yep, see you later, guys.
Cheers.